Well, welcome Michael Berman of Revolution Energy. So let's start off, we heard a little bit about what you do, but can you talk a little bit more about exactly how you go about working with businesses and municipalities to help them achieve savings through energy?
Sure. And I want to take a second just to thank Business New Hampshire and the judges. For a younger company, a smaller company, this type of award means a lot for us, and it really motivates us and says, yeah, we're on the right track. So I really do want to thank everybody for that. The best way to kind of describe what we do is when we work with a municipality or a business, we take the financial burden off of them when it comes to the system. When we first started, we got tired of hearing, I'd love to do this, but I can't afford it. So rather than say, well, you're going to have to afford it, we said, we'll take that financial burden and we're going to sell you the energy that we produce. So we do everything on the back side of it, and we just say, all you have to do is sign a long-term contract with us to purchase our energy, and that's about it. And actually, it comes at a savings. So at that point, it tends to click with people. This could be a pretty good idea. Oh, and I'm getting renewable energy from it.
And so you use power purchase agreements. How exactly does a power purchase agreement work?
A power purchase agreement is really a financial tool and mechanism. By taking that ownership position, we leverage all the tax incentives available, be it state or federal or utility-based. We apply for them, we own the system, and then you get to avoid all of that effort on your end. We insure it, we maintain it, and we construct it. So if anything goes wrong, it's on us. We've done that with a host of different types of systems and technologies, one of which is very innovative that I'll talk about in a second because I already know your questions. But it's a mechanism that allows us to achieve that goal of making renewable energy affordable.
And so what is the biggest misconception businesses have around renewable energy?
I think there's a couple. The first thought that came to mind was that solar doesn't work in the Northeast. I think that misconception is largely beginning to change. If you start talking to owners of renewable energy systems now, especially solar systems, that is, they prove, yes, this works, and it works on cloudy days. New Hampshire is a great place to have solar arrays. The other misconception is that the renewable industry is so heavily weighted towards incentives and tax credits and support in that way that it will never last as a sector of the economy. I think that's an enormous misconception. I think that once all incentives are basically taken away for all fuel sources and the playing field is level, we'll all begin to see that this domestic source of production is really going to compete with every other form of energy generation.
And finally, what are some of the financial incentives companies can take advantage of to do this?
Some of those incentives, I would say, would be working with Revolution Energy. There are a variety of state and federal incentives, but you do in New Hampshire really want to pay attention to some of the changing incentives because the Public Utilities Commission, the Office of Energy and Planning, they tend to have different rounds of RFPs that you can apply for. So basically, stay active on the state level and participate in some of the federal legislation that you see come forward for these types of resources.
Well, thank you, Michael, and please join me in congratulating Michael Berman and Revolution Energy on their